Science, HD, Science, HD.
Okay, welcome back to Science HD, everybody. How are we doing out there in the real world? Whether you're in an office, or your car, or your bedroom, toilet, or in our Twitch chat. My name is Nolan, and
I'm Rose.
And I'm Asher.
and this is Science HD. Let's go. Season 2. Okay. Okay, there we go. Just gotta bear with it. Don't kick it. I'm gonna crack open my sparkling water, and now we're ready to roll. So, how we doing, guys?
I'm doing grand.
I'm drowning.
Drowning. Oh,
But
yeah.
it's okay. It's all good.
It's just a lot of code, huh?
Yeah, well, like we said, end of the semester. End of the semester.
It's always
True.
the worst.
I have several projects I have to do. Including my senior project.
And well, actually, never mind. I was about to ask what that's about, but
Yeah, I still don't know if, like obviously I'm allowed to talk about it to like, the professors and stuff, but I still don't know if I'm actually allowed to talk about it or not. Like outside of...
Does it relate to your job?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
directly.
It's like the same thing.
Yes. Actually, yeah, it's just really smart, but I won't go further because I don't want to cross the line.
I'll get clarification on that one day. I'll
Yeah.
ask.
Anyways, welcome back to Science HD, and we're gonna just start off right away. I mean, I'm done doing the shout outs of merch and stuff because I get annoyed with that every week, and I feel like it's kind of there and obvious if you want to take advantage of that. So
Just merch.
Buy merch.
yeah, yeah, I made the tabs available and everything. So, other than that, I guess we'll hop right into it. I think we're gonna start with Asher's segment. I think we're gonna start with Asher's segment, which we so kindly named 2 minutes ago.
My PET scan can certainly find diseases. When I was here 2 weeks ago, we talked briefly about PET scans. When I was trying to explain what a medical physicist might do.
Holy crap! Wait, that's actually a really good pun.
Oh my! You didn't know that?
No, but like it's the word scan and cancer,
Oh, because you have...
Oh!
dude.
I was putting the PET scan together. You put the cancer together.
Yeah, that's why I capitalized the can and sir, and then wow, I didn't realize that's actually a really good pun.
Yeah.
But it's really bad at the same time. Okay, anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
There's really nothing more. I decided to look around for some topics, and this one was pretty approachable that I could do when I was trying to figure something out about an hour ago. So we'll go into it.
Actually, you can click if you want.
Oh, I can click now.
Yeah, you have a clicker.
All right. So this is a PET scan machine, and so there's the place where the patient lays, and then it like pushes you through that little tube, and what it can do is it can find things that really like other molecules. So, like for example, cancer, which is the one I named it after. Cancer cells really like sugar. They will just pull it from everywhere, and they'll just store it. They don't have a way to actually like do anything with it. They'll just store it, and it'll sit there. So that's how they do it with cancer, and then stuff like the brain, pulls in molecules. You can find those locations. So how do you do that? I love this diagram.
Every week. Oh, is there a shirt that exists of just this
Oh,
diagram?
I'm sure. So you'll notice this diagram is actually a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that's because there are 12 more particles on there. Because I needed one that showed antimatter. Because right now we're talking about the positron. Nolan usually does the circling thing, but like right in the middle is that E+, and the positron is just an electron that has a positive charge. There's nothing special about it. That's all antimatter is. There's...
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a dog in here. That's
He
Captain.
really likes positrons.
Yeah.
Notoriously. So, there's something very interesting about positrons. When antimatter and matter collide, does anybody know what happens? Like if an anti-electron hits an or a regular electron, what happens?
Nothing.
Not true.
I can't remember.
It has one of
Opposite.
it has
explodes.
yes. It has one of the most violent names in physics called annihilation. They undergo annihilation. And when they do that, they explode into 2 photons. Like that. So you see the B plus just means a positron. So it collides with the electron and it emits 2 photons. And because
I thought I took that squeaky toy out of this room.
Captain.
Any other toy, sir?
there's a candy corn there that would be perfect for you.
Sorry.
No worries. So they go in exactly opposite directions with exactly the same energy.
Captain. I'm gonna try to limbo underneath this microphone without hitting it.
You can move it.
Can
And
I?
then just move.
You just
move
touched
Very,
it,
very
like-
carefully.
Anyways,
Anyways, so because of a couple conservation laws that people might remember, you have to have one very specific condition that makes all of this possible. Okay. And that is the conservation of angular momentum. Essentially, you can't have, if the particle's traveling in one way, you can't have both of its particles be emitted like some weird other direction. In order for them for this interaction to work, you need to have them emit exactly opposite each other. So, oh no, how do I go back?
yep, that really precise clicks.
There we go. So, I thought I had another slide in here, but I don't see it, so I'll just describe it to you. So you sit in the tube that we saw earlier, and inside of this tube are a bunch of detectors of photons. What you do is, when you find one photon of 511 kiloelectron volts, which is the energy that a positron annihilation should have, if you find one, you start a timer and you immediately look where the other one should show up. Because if they're exactly opposite each other, you start a timer here, and then you stop it when you find one on the other side.
Yeah. And that does.
That allows you to know where in that line the positron was emitted, or where the positron annihilated. So if you start a timer here, like you see the right side first, you know that it was closer to the right side than it was the left side. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because they go off with the same speed and the same energy in the same line of direction or whatever. You do that with a whole bunch.
No.
Here. I'll go take out the trash. I'm just kidding.
He's
Come here.
in a mood today.
So you experience a lot of those emissions, and you look at all of the light that you see, and eventually you'll get like a full 360-degree view of the patient, and it will have these hot spots like what you're seeing on the right side there. That one that's kind of got the arrows on it.
Yeah.
You'll see these hot spots of, oh my gosh, there's a lot of high energy photons coming out of there. Oh. So what you do is you can take basically any radioactive molecule that looks like a biological molecule. So one of them is like one that looks like glucose, but the only difference is it has a radioactive version of potassium in it, and you put that in people's bodies. The cancer cells will more than any other cell will uptake that glucose, hold it inside of itself, and then, because it's held there, you will then see it spit off a positron, which almost immediately collides with an electron, and then becomes 2 light rays. And you can use that to like triangulate where the hotspots are in 3D space.
That's interesting.
So on the left, you'll actually see CT scan. Those are just like an X-ray, sort of.
Yeah.
We use those sometimes to detect cancer. you cannot see a single thing in the little marked area. You cannot tell that there's anything going on there. But when you switch to a PET scan, there you go.
Wait, I thought that was the brain. Is that not?
It is the brain.
So why does it say liver, kidney, spleen?
Oh, I might actually be lying to you. I think that might actually be the top-down view of a person.
That makes sense
top-down,
too.
it could be like it'll slice, so like slices me through here, and it's looking like.
But because of where the two kidneys are, like kind of forward, I think it is the top-down.
Yep, I mean that would make sense with the outside like white dots being ribs.
Yeah. Well,
interesting.
But regardless, I'm not totally sure which view I'm looking at here. I'll be honest, I didn't really look that carefully at this image. But you can see that you get this really, really evident mark of, hey, this is taking in a lot of glucose. Maybe we should look here for the cancer. And they can do this with brain activity. You just make a different radioactive molecule that the brain really likes. I think it also is glucose for the brain. Like, basically any biological process that has a unique molecule that it really likes, you can track it, how good it is at itself, by injecting people with radioactive stuff. The radiation dose is like 14 millisieverts, which is, for reference, I saw that if you were to spend a year in Denver, you would get about 12.7 millisieverts of radiation.
Oh, Denver?
Yeah, because Denver's higher up, you get a lot of cosmic rays and stuff.
Oh.
Whoa. Does that mean there might be like higher cancer rates there?
Probably very minutely, but you are getting more radiation if you live in a high elevation area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, but you had I don't know.
It's something I wouldn't have predicted. Like, do I get like 3 millisieverts because I live in a low area?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's not that much radiation, but they only use it if they suspect you have cancer and they can't find it because it is technically more dangerous than other kinds of scans.
Huh.
Yeah, that's PET scans, and that's why your pets can find cancer.
Can certainly
find cancer. There you go.
Awesome. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I remember talking about PET scans when my mom was on here, briefly.
Yeah.
And you guys connected about that. All right, this one is called "Hold My Beer," even though it's sparkling water. This one I chose because I realized I haven't talked about beer at all, but I started to get into the hobby of beer more. So I wanted to go in a little bit on that because there's this one of the coolest things I discovered when learning about beer is that you can actually clone a beer from the store if you really wanted to. So let's say you're obsessed with Oberon like many people are, and you want to make Oberon yourself, taste exactly like Oberon. Well, you can't just go to the store and buy the same things as this company because they're $1 million company and they've won awards for this, and that would be stealing, but it would also I don't know. Would it be stealing if you bought the same ingredients and just if it was bread?
But what's stopping me from copying a bread
If they have a
recipe
patent on the process, you can't sell it. You could make it for yourself, but the second you sell it, that becomes copyright infringement, I think.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how Bell's actually does this. Who makes Oberon? And Oberon's just an example. This could do anything, but Oberons are super popular nationwide. Anyways, and it's Oberon season. Sorry, I digress. Let's say you want to make Oberon exactly how it is, and people do this. What you're going to need is the same grain, which might be easier to find because they probably just go through a bigger company that you can get access to. Great, you have the same grain as them. Around the same water chemistry. I feel like that can't be that hard, but it might be a little bit more difficult, but it might not make a huge enough difference to taste unless you're an expert or something.
I bet you it's distilled. I bet you they use distilled water.
Yeah, I think RO water is usually what big companies use.
Okay.
It's the best water for some reason.
Standard, just distilled water.
What's the difference between distilled and RO? I forgot.
I don't know.
And deionized. There's another one that we can
Yeah.
make this confusing.
Water can have its own episode alone, probably.
Absolutely.
But anyways, you can find out what water they use and probably use roughly the same water and it tastes around the same. But it comes down to that yeast. Like, Bell's might actually culture their own yeast for this. I'm not sure. I know some breweries do. And one of my favorite breweries of all time, Austin Brothers, they reuse their yeast from the beers that they have. And so they're just using the same population for the same beer. And then they store it somewhere else and they bring it back. And then they can reuse it because yeast doesn't die after it creates all of its alcohol. And so what you can do at home is drink your beer, pour it into a glass until the last little bit. Just like the picture. Mm-hmm. There's like that little bit and that sediment on the top, on the bottom. All that sediment is yeast. And save it. Maybe get down a whole 6-pack. And then allocate all that yeast into like one vessel of some sort. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add your own little either makeshift wort, or you go out and buy what is it called? It's called DME. It's like what is that? No one else knows.
Dimethyl ethyl.
Yeah. Dried malt extract. There we go. Which is basically a bunch of sugar, powder, and carbs that are really good at making beer. And it's just basically feeding your yeast. You can add a little bit of that. Just like, there's a more precise way of doing this that I found on this homebrewersassociation.org of just like adding a little bit of liquid with a little bit of sugar in it, with a little bit of a mixture, and then you culture that yeast for 3 days, and then you add a bigger dosage, so you can basically just like grow the population at a rate where you don't grow it too fast or else it'll get overwhelmed and doesn't populate. And then you get the same strand of yeast as the beer that you just had because it will reproduce asexually. And then basically it's just cloning your beer. And I thought that was cool.
That's pretty cool.
So
I know a brewery I worked for, they had their brewing operations in a specific town in a specific building because that there was a yeast that was naturally occurring. And I think they just had open brewing. And so like they just let some of the wild yeast trickle down or something.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Supposedly it was sanitary.
Well, the reason why I think it's not is because you can actually like dip your whole hand. You can put a strand of your hair in the beer as you're cooking it, and it will still be sanitary by the end because you're cooking it at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. But then once you're done cooking it and you've introduced the yeast, that's when you want to keep it as sanitary as possible by sanitizing everything that comes in contact with the liquid or even close to it, or else you'll introduce bad bacteria. So everything they introduce after they cook it is not being cleaned unless they sanitize it, but you can't sanitize wild yeast. So
you also can't sanitize real yeast or like not wild yeast.
Right.
You kill it if you sanitize it. So.
Right. But another cool thing that actually reminded me, there's this brewery, I don't know where it is, but there's this brewery that exists that has made a beard using yeast from the brewer's beard. Oh, like wild yeast from the brewer's beard.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's just like stuff from this guy's beard.
Is it a good beer?
I don't know. I've never had it. Never even like I've heard of it from a guy, like a real person. So, but anyways, that's what yeast looks like under a scanning electron microscope.
Super cool things, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be cool to talk about.
Yeah, they're really hard too.
Yeah, I don't know how they work. I like literally can't comprehend that. But yeah. So, yeast is cool. I feel like I could talk about yeast some more sometime, especially once I enter clinical microbiology this fall. So
very exciting.
Yeah. That's gonna be hard. Yeah, let me see. That's all I had to say about that one.
Yeast.
I wrote a bunch of notes, all did never read them. So.
Yeah.
Anyways. Do you like this one? Do you get it?
Yes, I do.
Prince Quarking. Here's your clicker.
Thanks. Okay, so we're back here. We're back to this diagram. So I also was just kind of like I was looking for more things to talk about, and I just opened this up and looked at it and went, "What is a fun name?" And so I decided that the charm quark was the one I was going to look into a little bit more, and boy was it! It was kind of an exciting one. So maybe I'll do this next time. This is just a thing about the charm quark. That's all it is. So quarks are the things that make up like protons and neutrons and not electrons. Those are already on the diagram. And other like composite particles that are matter, but they're not really that useful because they tend to explode into other things really quickly. Mm-hmm. So
they're matter that doesn't matter.
They're matter that matters sometimes.
Oh,
sometimes it matters. Other times it's not matter.
I'll put on a sticker.
Yeah, sometimes matter matters.
Okay. So if we look at the mass of the charm quark, we'll notice that it's really heavy. That'll be notable later, but it's particularly heavy when compared to some of the other ones. Of the heavy quarks, the top and the bottom quark, it is one of the lightest. Yes. And that's a curious thing. However, if you take the mass of the up quark and the two down quarks, or the two up quarks and the one down quark, things that make up the proton and the neutron, the charm quark is about 38% heavier than a proton. So there's another picture of it.
Cereal box.
It's spin 1/2 if that matters at all, and it's pretty heavy.
Wait, what's the 2/3 all about?
I don't actually know. I didn't. There's not a lot of pictures of just a circle with a C on it.
Right.
You know, spin is weird because like it's not actually spinning.
It's
right?
not spinning. Yes. So I did look up the history of spin a little bit. Mm-hmm. So spin is what's called intrinsic angular momentum, and the guy who came up with it didn't call it spin at first. He called it non-classical intrinsic two-valuedness or something. Essentially, like I know that it can be one value or the other, but I don't know. I can't really say what it is exactly. Mm-hmm. So the first person to recommend to him, hey, maybe it's like the electron is spinning. He ran the calculations and went, okay, so that means that the edge of the electron would have to be rotating far faster than the speed of light. Like it'd have to be moving faster than the speed of light. Oh. And so he was like, dude, that's a really dumb idea. Don't call it spin. And then this other set of scientists also thought it was spin, and they published a paper, and the scientific community kind of came after him for it when this was first like being postulated.
Yeah.
So when you say spin, you mean like?
I mean that, except it's not doing that.
Yeah.
So imagine the particle is spinning, but it's not.
Yeah. So of course not.
Essentially, it's like you get all the effects as if it were spinning, but you can't actually say that it is spinning. It has some quantum property called spin that kind of imitates angular momentum. Mm-hmm. It's actually one of the reasons why you have magnetic fields, is because of this spin. That's why we get magnetism partially. It's the spin vector, like the axis around what it would be spinning, is the thing. It gives you magnetism. So there is a picture of the proton. The charm quark is interesting because there is some evidence that it might be in there. Sometimes.
Is it the little noodles?
No, those are gluons. So there is evidence that essentially sometimes there is a charm quark inside of our proton. That's a really weird fact that we're actually the only way we're able to kind of understand it is because AI has sorted through a lot of data for us and has said, with a 1 in 10,000 chance that it's a fluke, there is a charm quark inside of here sometimes.
This is like new information.
This is as of 2022 they did this.
Wow.
It's been kind of theorized to be a thing for a little while, but they had the AI look at it and say that it probably is there by looking through a bunch of experimental data just recently. Now, there's actually 2 charm quarks in this model. If you see the ones with the C, there is a charm quark and an anti-charm quark. So if we go back to looking at how much the proton weighs, let's compare that. If it has 2 charm quarks sometimes, that makes it like, I don't know, 300% more massive sometimes than other times. Now, the reason it's so hard to figure this out is because it's the strong force. And the strong force is a world of high energy, and it is a world of particles blinking in and out of existence all the time. So inside of the proton, it gets harder and harder to see what's going on. So the way we do see about what's going on is we throw things at it. And this is how a scanning electron microscope works, kind of. You're going to get a quick little synopsis. Imagine you have like this shape that you're blindfolded and you want to know what it looks like, and all you can do is throw a ball at it. If you throw a ball at it, it'll bounce off. And it'll bounce off depending on the internal structure of the thing. So if I throw it at a square, most of the times it's going to bounce off one of the faces. So if the square is like kind of like at an angle on me, sometimes I'll hit one face and it'll go to the left, and sometimes I'll hit the other one. And you just throw balls at it constantly, and you look at where your ball ended up. And you keep doing that until you've created a good picture of what's going on.
Interesting.
So that is like, you can only say you have 2 balls now, and they're the same size, and one of them is you don't know what it is and you want to figure it out, and you throw it and you hit the ball and it doesn't tell you much. Now it can like make the ball the smaller thing. Essentially, the size of the ball you're using to probe the structure determines how small of the thing that you can see. So when we use electrons, which is actually what we use for both the scanning electron microscope and this
Ball.
Yeah, it's a ball. It's just a ball.
Yeah.
The more fine details you want to see, the more energy the electron has to have. So you throw the ball at it, and in this case, the more you zoom in, you start to see these weird fluctuations. You get to see the particles blinking out and blinking in and blinking out, and you get higher energy, and it starts to all kind of like, you lose the underlying structure, and you lose the proton to what is called the quark C. So the reason it's such a pain is you then, in order to figure out if there's charm quarks in there sometimes, you have to decide, was our electron forming them? Are they actually there? Are they just blinking in and out sometimes? So it's the difference between an intrinsic, which is what this model would be, and an extrinsic charm quark. And so the 3 sigma, or 1 in 10,000 chance of it being a fluke discovery of the charm quark by AI, it has happened. But physicists are really, 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 really skeptical of it because it's AI, number 1. And number 2, it's a 3 sigma discovery, and I think we have set like something like a 6 or 7 sigma for saying this is what's going to happen, which is like 1 in a billion chance that it was a fluke.
Yeah.
So 1 in 10,000 is really not good.
Right. Well, it's cool that AIs keep being used as a tool in that regard.
Yeah.
Rather than just like essays or something.
There's like exactly 2 examples I have of AI not being used for dumb stuff.
Yeah.
There's that and like, I don't know, some medical stuff, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Making protein structures or something.
It'd be really nice for record keeping. Like just like mass libraries.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Anyway, that's, I think, the end. Yep.
Yeah.
That's not even a pun.
No, it's not.
You just crossed off a word.
Yeah, at first I wrote every once in a blue cheese, but then I feel like no one was going to get that. So I put moon and I crossed out cheese. Every once in a blue cheese. So I brought
right off the tongue.
Yeah. I brought this one up because I saw something on TikTok. Not like a challenge or anything. I just saw a picture of blue cheese on TikTok. Yeah, I don't need it. But I'll actually be right back. I need to grab a fork.
A fork?
He's actually just gonna have us eat moldy cheese.
But he didn't say he has to grab the cheese. He has to grab the fork. Where's the cheese?
I was trying to My brain went to it's under the sauce.
Okay, this is optional. This is optional, but I thought it would be fun if I did a taste test on.
We're eating moldy cheese.
Is that why you needed the cutting board?
Yeah. Because I have a fresh block.
A blue cheese?
Yeah. Rose, I really think you're
I
gonna
love
like.
blue cheese.
I know. I really think you're gonna like this segment. Asher, you give me the vibe you hate blue cheese. Is that... Oh, really?
I like blue cheese when it's blue cheese. We did actually just have moldy cheese in our fridge earlier today that we threw out. So.
Okay, that.
You pulled out that. I
Really?
would say no.
Like that was not. I'll actually tell you why that's not the same in this segment. So I brought a bunch of things
Charcuterie.
that supposedly pair well with blue cheese. One of them I know pairs well with blue cheese.
Do you want solid or
Here.
chunky?
Chunky.
I did bring
Chunky.
liquid.
You know what pairs well with blue cheese? Blue cheese sauce.
Yeah, we're actually just gonna dip this whole wedge of blue cheese in blue cheese dressing. How do I get back up here without destroying my blue cheese and my microphone? So anyways, shall we watch the video before we dig in or after we dig in?
Probably. I don't know.
Come on,
Is it
it's
gonna
a
make you
challenge.
not want to eat the blue
It
cheese?
might make, yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, sweet. So I wanted to learn more about blue cheese after I saw this video that looked horrendous on TikTok, and it was someone just doing their process at their job of how they make blue cheese. Now, this isn't going to be like, I cut these like 2 hours ago, so they're fresh, trust me.
Actually, the crackers aren't stale.
Yes, I put those in there 2 hours ago as well. Everything's fresh, cooked to order.
Except for the blue cheese.
Well, technically it's fresh in blue cheese standards. I'm gonna just open everything so it's not noisy. I guess this one won't be noisy. Oh man, I should get my knife. That would help here. Sorry, this is cluttered for all the people on YouTube. It's probably really annoying to watch. This is unconventional.
I love how you kind of can see through the banner on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that years ago, but it's cool. So if anyone wants to know how to do that on OBS, good luck. You're gonna have to find out. Because it looks like I'm walking through it right here. Looks like I'm on the outside of the banner, but then you go up here and I'm not. So, well, Asher, I'm glad you don't mind blue cheese. I was really afraid it was just gonna be like me and Rose eating. And just in case you didn't like blue cheese, I was like, let's just grab some wings. I know, because everyone knows blue cheese and buffalo
Buffalo
wings
wings?
have deep history. Yeah, they are cold though, so that's the
They go
only.
way back.
That's the only thing. So anyways, let's get started on the blue cheese train. Here's what blue cheese looks like. Zooming in on this picture, it actually does kind of look gross, especially if you've never like looked into blue cheese. It's just moldy cheese. Like
Ignorance is bliss, I think.
yeah,
for
with-
this
if
particular
it's-
case.
it's really just moldy cheese.
Captain, I'll give you a wing later.
No, go lay down. Go lay down. I knew I should have. This was gonna happen when I brought food out. So I looked up earlier before we get deep into it what pairs nicely with blue cheese. Supposedly, a fresh, or not, I guess not fresh, but a crisp sweet apple pairs nicely with blue cheese, as well as water biscuits.
What is a water biscuit?
Like water chestnuts?
No, water biscuit is a cracker that's almost flavorless.
Oh.
And it's so that the other flavors you pair it with accentuate your palate and are like it's like the stage for a show, and that's what a water biscuit is.
It's merely a vessel to get the cheese into your mouth.
Yes, and it like the subtleness of it pairs nicely with it. I'm opening the blue cheese for.
Is there a
everyone.
beer that pairs well with blue cheese?
Probably. Oh my gosh, this does not smell good. So I actually don't really like blue cheese a whole lot. I only like it when it's melted on my stuff. So this actually might be bad for me. Not like bad for me, but like might not be fun. I also don't know if this is just gonna crumble everywhere. or if it's going to cut nicely into slices. I'm just going to cut it into slices. I would have done this before, but I felt like it'd be more fun on stream since we never do any sort of experiments.
So instead, they're going to watch us eat cheese.
As you can smell in the room, it's got like a little pungent smell to it. And that is all because of the mold. And I am going to show you a video of how it's made while I prepare this. I think we have audio, but I don't think I'm going to
Stilton is a creamy and crumbly British blue cheese whose roots date back to the early 1700s. It tastes mellower and less salty than...
Okay, I might not be able to mute this from here. Oh, yeah. So basically, I looked up how it's made because that's great. And I'll tell you the origin story of this real quick, which I thought was cool. It was like this guy who brought a lunch to a cave and just brought regular cheese on his sandwich. He then left his sandwich in the cave, came back like a month later and was like, oh, there's my sandwich. And now you can guess the rest. I think he might have eaten that cheese or something. And supposedly that's how blue cheese was discovered. So he really did just leave it to mold.
That had to be like a real good sandwich. Like he had to really like that sandwich.
Yeah.
Are those mold spores?
Well, I don't know what year it was, but...
If you had to eat a moldy sandwich, what sandwich are you eating?
Oh, pimento and cheese. I'm just kidding. I
don't know if I'm eating a moldy cheese.
Yeah, I can't eat a moldy sandwich.
I was like, it's
Peanut butter and
like,
jelly.
It's like you have to.
Peanut butter and jelly.
You have to eat a moldy sandwich. What sandwich would make it the most bearable?
I think you don't try and cover up the cheese. I think you definitely just like... I think it's just like a cheese cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You just
cheese.
muscle through it.
Well, I'm definitely going,
Yeah, good grilled cheese might be good.
I'm going,
Can I reheat it?
peanut butter. Did you want to do your own?
No,
No. I'll try not to touch it.
It's okay. I trust that you are clean.
I am germaphobe, after all. And we are eating moldy cheese.
Yeah, if we have germs on my mold.
Okay, so what we've got first up, what the video is showing is them just curdling cheese as you would at any process. But now they're putting it in tubes, which then they're going to strike the tubes with holes in them, which they have already done. And they're going to let them get all the juices out. And then they're going to let them sit there and mold. But what they put in the cheese that you can't see is a certain fungi called Penicillium roqueforti, I'm pretty sure, which is because it was discovered in Roquefort, France, which is where blue cheese was discovered. And it's like the only mold that actually is not toxic to humans, which is why we're able to eat moldy cheese. So as we're about to eat moldy cheese, that's how cheese is made. Cheers to a Honeycrisp apple and blue cheese. Let's see if it tastes good, guys. Actually, I kind of enjoyed my experience with that. How do you feel about Asher?
I think the blue cheese is like really smoky tasting.
Yes.
It's a very smoky cheese.
This is Smokehouse blue cheese. Applewood smoked blue cheese. So that might play a factor. But anyways, they leave it there. We could try it with dressing. They leave it there to mold. And they basically know that it's not going to have bad mold because they already inserted it with the mold inside the cheese. And then, yeah, it's literally like straight up moldy cheese.
Yeah.
Like the worst type of moldy cheese you can think of. And it looks disgusting. But, yeah. So, next, I'm actually going to put it on a cracker. And then I'm going to put honey on it. Because just this by itself on a cracker is probably not that good.
What is this called? I just know the name of this.
Oh, I forgot what those are called. But that's the video I saw on TikTok where they just stabbed this cheese wheel. And that's to see how far the mold is growing.
It's like a cheese tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese tap. There was a name for that, and I couldn't remember the name for the life of me, and I couldn't look it up. Because I'm like cheese saw, cheese sampler.
I gotta find it.
And I could not find the name of it. It says it in this video, so. But that guy's just straight up eating moldy cheese, and that made me, like, want to gag.
You are now.
I know. It's different. There you go, Asher. So, yeah, this is smoky, so that might actually affect, like, the rest of this. Oh.
What is it called?
Here's that. And I'm just gonna...
Cracker.
Yeah, shattered cracker. And then I'm just gonna give everyone some honey to drizzle on it yourself. And see if blue cheese and honey is a move. I actually really like blue cheese and apple. I highly recommend everyone to do that sometime. Blue cheese really isn't that expensive. I think this was like $4 for a wedge of cheese. Penicillium mold makes penicillin. So yes, but it's a different strain. So Penicillium mold chrysogenum is the strain that makes penicillin. Penicillium roqueforti is the penicillium mold that makes blue cheese. It does still use real mold. It's just really controlled now.
What defines a strain?
I think it's genetically different enough. It's like breed of dog, I think.
But yeah, it's not like a different species though.
Right.
So it's
like a breed of dog.
Is like Captain like a Australian strain?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that, but that's how I always envisioned it. Anyways, everyone ready for honey?
Mm-hmm.
Ready, Rose?
Yeah.
That one's not bad either, huh?
I actually preferred that one.
And that one was way better.
Yeah.
I think the honey really helped.
Honey helps blue cheese. That's good. I'm sorry this is a little long, but I'm having fun here. Fig preserves.
Small cheese Trier? T-R-I-E-R.
Trier?
Yeah, I think Trier.
Now we know.
Trier, hardly know her. I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was bad. That was one of those old dad jokes. Come on. It's the blue cheese talking.
Isn't there a kind of like, I think it's a mold that like takes over ants' brains and like...
Yes, parasitic fungus.
Yeah.
Yes. I would love to talk more about parasites one day soon.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that was my favorite college class that you took, and you got to tell me about.
Yes, parasitology was awesome.
The cat one?
And
the
I got
cat?
to win.
The one, yeah.
Yes, Toxoplasma
Yeah.
gondii. When you get toxoplasmosis, I think it's like 70 or 60% of all Americans actually have a parasite sitting in their brain dormant that will never be awakened.
Until the day they are.
Why will it never be awakened?
Because I think it just chills there. That's the gist I got.
It's not that it's unawakened. It's just kind of cool.
Aren't we like the wrong?
Yeah, it's just dormant.
So I thought that was.
I think it might be something like that. I totally forgot, which is really going to be disappointing if my professor listens to this at all at any point.
Is he the one that's coming out?
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to talk about that again. I think I've talked about it season 1, which is why I haven't mentioned it again. Anyways, fig preserves and blue cheese. That one's pretty good too. Not as good as the honey.
Yeah. I think it's because it doesn't mask the bitterness of the blue cheese very well.
Yeah.
I think that the smokiness really cuts through though.
Yeah.
Like, I think if the smokiness.
If you had like a
was there-
regular blue cheese, we might be chilling.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, I'm sorry. Last one, the best one. We already know it's good, but we can just mac on these for the rest of the time.
I won't lie to you. My mouth is watering thinking about a wing right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm just trying to increase the view count with a mukbang. I'm just kidding.
We're not close enough to the camera
It's
for
not.
that.
It's not. Yeah, that's true. It's not the first time I have blue cheese on a pillow. Leaning up against a pillow. I don't know what the joke is
What?
there. I don't know. Anyways, Asher,
That was well thought out.
there's your work. I'm just trying to make jokes, man. while I'm doing like actual labor.
You started that joke with absolutely no idea where it was going to end.
I had no idea where that was going. But anyways, any last thoughts on blue cheese? Oh yeah, so I think this is like a stupid comment. Like you're gonna be like, no, duh. I think that everyone hates blue cheese because it literally is just mold. Like, is that a dumb idea? Because
No,
you might be like,
that's absolutely why people don't like blue cheese.
yeah. And I honestly,
It's also an intense taste.
yeah, probably because it is mold. I mean, if you ate other moldy cheese, I don't know. I wonder if it would taste the same at all. But
Like if you let cheddar have the blue cheese one, or like,
yeah, the other strand that does penicillin,
would
make a blue cheese out of that.
Yeah.
Wonder
Make
if
a
it-
prescription for when you have like the flu.
Right. But anyways, I'm gonna go on my wing.
You see, my issue with that one was not that it was blue cheese, but rather I can't get with things that are supposed to be hot being cold.
Yeah.
I can't do cold pizza. I can't do...
What? Oh my god, I love cold pizza.
There's something very disconcerting about it if I know it as a hot thing and it's cold.
Damn.
I'm trying to think of something that's like could go on either side. What's something that you could eat cold or hot? Like usually, like I can go and buy it at a restaurant cold.
That.
Cold wings?
Oh wait, no.
No restaurant.
Pasta salad.
You do like pasta salad?
I've never. I am prejudiced against pasta salad.
Is it because it's pasta that's just literally meant to be cold?
Yeah, I tried it once cold and I wasn't about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty anti-pasta salad up until recent years, but that's only when I made it myself and I made it with like dressing that I actually could eat. But
Egg salad, pasta salad.
I love egg
I'm-
salad.
egg salad, no, I can't
I've
get
only
it.
recently come around on potato salad.
Really?
Yeah,
Mustard or
mustard.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have mustard.
Yeah. What's it? Is it mayo? Is mayo the other one?
I think most mustard ones also have mayo. It's just you include mustard.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
mustardy.
How I feel, or how you feel about egg salad, is how I feel about chicken salad. I just came around on chicken salad, but yeah, chicken cold it is different. Although I could eat cold wings, I would prefer that hot though. But it was just for demonstration purposes.
It's my dinner now.
Rose is definitely about cold wings.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, blue cheese, that was interesting, and I didn't really know how it was made. I didn't really think about it until recently. So the more you know.
It is one of those productions. It's just like, how do you make moldy cheese? Well, you put mold in it.
Oh no.
You just click next to it.
Can you
did.
make any cheese moldy then by just adding them?
Yes.
Or does it
So
have to be-
gorgonzola is also one of those cheeses that gets molded the same process. But this is also what it looks like when it's good. Like when it's done. You just have to clean the outside. But that's like straight up
Moldy cheese?
moldy cheese. But
I know there is a
the
lot
good
of
mold.
there's a lot of mold that like if you see it on cheese, like if you don't see it anywhere else, you just cut it off and you continue eating. Like it doesn't immediately make the cheese bad.
Yep. And that's... I also saw something like... If you see any mold on cheese, you can cut it off as long as it's like a certain distance away and a little bit deep, because it doesn't go deep into the cheese, apparently. But I wouldn't eat all moldy cheese is what I want to throw out there.
Yeah.
Is it true that mold can be good for you? You ever heard that? Where it's like, oh, it's good for you. But I don't know if it's the same kind of like it's good for you, like it puts hair in your chest versus like.
I think it's definitely
I think it's definitely that too.
yeah.
And I think it probably came from penicillin. You know?
Oh, that's probably.
There's one kind that cured my
Yeah.
that cured my strep.
I feel like it's just
Put
one
it
of
on
those
a
things you heard
cheese.
as a kid, though. You know, like oh, mold's good for you. Or
Who
maybe
told you
was
that?
My grandma. I think I don't.
That's
really-
definitely. I really don't want to throw this cheese away. Rose, try it. It's good for you.
Yeah. My mom said she had a patient that went blind temporarily from toxoplasmosis from her kitty litter box. That was also what I was going to notice. Or, nope.
No.
You get toxoplasmosis from your cat's feces, and you don't need to touch it.
can just be in the air.
Mm-hmm. So that's why they say 60 or 70% of Americans probably have it, because a lot of Americans probably have cats. Rose, you probably have it. I probably have it for going in your
house.
house.
I've always had like 3 cats at a time. It's never just one cat. I have lots of cats.
I probably had it before going into your house. Like
I've had 2 at a time.
For now on, when
you
people
probably
go
have
like
it.
cat person, dog person, they don't give me parasites in my brain.
That you know about.
Well, you already have the parasite, so like you can be cool with cats now.
Yeah.
There's no negative anymore.
Right.
Also, I think if you like have a sufficiently like good cleaning regimen for your cat litter box, and also you're in a well ventilated like you're not just sleeping with the kitty litter.
What do you mean? You just hang out by your litter box.
But now I'm gonna put away this stuff before we crumble blue cheese all over this bed. Anyways, the last segment of the day, I called "Am I Seeing Double?" There's no pun here. It's just a good phrase.
Did you do? I'm gonna wait.
So this is also from another TikTok, which is how I tend to get my ideas. Where I'm like, how does that work?
You don't just peruse Wikipedia until something finds interesting.
No, how do you peruse Wikipedia? Do you just like Google random things?
Yeah, I just look up the standard model and see. Oh, that's a charm quark. If there's any links that take me anywhere.
But anyways, there was this video of this girl with her boyfriend, and they were playing a cute little game where it's like, oh, let's guess what's inside this egg. And I'm like, okay, this is weird.
I saw this.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you think it is? A double egg, double yolk, or a single yolk? And first of all, I'm like, even after looking into this, I'm like, how do they know? Or how do they like see this so common that...
It's a huge egg.
Well, that, true. But still, it's just like, I don't know. Anyways, that was a dumb question. Double eggs. They exist, apparently. So, they had a double egg that pulled on the video, and that made me look up how the hell do you get a double egg. And so...
What is a double egg?
Good question. But let's talk about double yolks first, because that's the picture I had first. Actually, no, I can show double egg. Accuracy. So okay. Double egg is just an egg you crack open, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm being pranked. There's another egg in here.
I can't say I've had chickens my entire life, and I've never had a double egg. Double yolks, triple yolk even, but never a double egg.
And that brings me back to double yolk. And that's what it looked like, Rose, right?
Yeah.
Can confirm. Sweet. So basically, how you get double yolk is the hen that's producing this yolk in their body is just producing them at a faster rate than normal, where it releases the yolk and then the egg forms around it. And I think that process takes like around an hour, but then sometimes another yolk gets released within that time period, and then 2 yolks get encased in 1 egg, is basically what I picked up from what they were putting down out there in the internet. Now, if you found 3, that probably just means your hen was just producing a lot of yolks within a short period of time, and it all got encased in 1 egg. Mm-hmm. Why do you have your arms crossed?
No, I'm thinking so hard. So, like, most kids take, like, biology for, like, I don't know, humans in high school. I took biology for chickens.
Did you actually?
Yeah, bio and egg. Whole unit on chickens and how they work.
So, I thought you, like, had a problem with what I was saying. I was like, oh, God, you're about to slam me.
Actually?
Yeah. There are no such thing as chickens. But anyways.
That's the first thing they teach you
yeah.
in how chickens work class. It's the whole next part of the unit's useless.
But anyways, that was interesting about double yolks to me. Now, does anyone have a hypothesis of how double eggs start?
When the egg forms, it doesn't leave, and then the chicken throws a new yolk out, and it just wraps up everything.
Very good guess.
Awesome.
He's right. So yeah, the egg that gets produced gets jammed up in traffic, doesn't move, or gets pushed back somehow. Now you got 2 eggs inside of an egg, or 1 egg inside of another egg. It makes a big egg. I think the yolk still might be in there too. And then you crack it open and you're like, oh my gosh, there's 2 eggs. So
They teach you that in chicken class?
They did not teach me about eggs inside eggs.
you ever talk about cloacas?
Yeah.
Cloacas are so interesting to me. I don't know why. It's just a whole, everything hole, which I find disgusting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's all I had about eggs. And then that made me think about a question. Forgot about that. And I forgot my file.
Do you guys know like what's called when like a chicken can't pass an egg and it like dies because it can't pass the egg?
No, did not know that happened.
I see videos on my TikTok like of like chicken farmers and they put their chicken in like a Epsom salt bath. It's like all warm. It's like a jacuzzi for a chicken, and that helps them pass the egg. But if they don't pass it, they'll die. And it's like it happens super quick. Like they have like hours of their life left if they don't pass this chicken or egg.
My favorite one is that like there's like anti-cannibalism spray for chickens.
What?
Like they'll attack each other, and you have to spray them with anti-cannibalism spray.
Yeah, that makes sense because I've seen your.
My chickens?
Yeah, I've seen your chickens like, or like I haven't seen your chickens try to eat each other, but I've seen your one rooster just.
Yeah.
Like tear that chicken up down to its bare hiney.
Well, I mean, that's not cannibalism. That's just
territorial
other stuff.
mating.
Yeah.
But still, maybe that spray is for that.
Now, when we had chicks growing up, like when they start to grow up or something, and you try like merging the new chicks with the old chicks, sometimes like they'll go like it's blood. They go for blood. Oh, that's another thing too. Like chickens, like they start bleeding and they and it's like blood's shiny. Chickens are stupid. They peck at shiny things, and so that causes them to kill each other as well. So you can't have like an injured chicken in with the other chickens because they'll kill each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. There's also this is not quite chicken related, but I did just read something that like horses can't vomit, and if they need to, they die. Like
what?
Like horses can't throw up, and if they ever are in a situation where they need to throw up, they can't do it and they die.
I wonder if that's what happened with my horse. I don't know more right now. She was like having trouble breathing or something weird was happening, and then my dad left because he was gonna go put her down. Came back with the gun and.
That's it. I need to have a farm animal segment. Weird things farm animals do. Horses die when they
need to throw up.
Need to
they get
basically
food poisoning.
burp with some extra stuff coming out.
Cows are cool too.
It's crazy.
With the curd, like they chew, swallow, regurgitate, chew, swallow.
You should see a giraffe do it, dude. When I worked at the zoo, giraffes do the same exact thing. Like they just bring it all the way up from here, all the way up to their 9-foot neck and into their mouth, and then they put it back down. It is almost disgusting.
Only because it's such a long neck.
Yeah, and you could see it go all the way down. It's like a little ball that just goes, and it's like, yeah, it's cool. But anyways, my last question about this egg thing was, if you could have a double egg, and you could have a double yolk or triple yolk, is it possible to have a double yolk egg?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's probably just exceedingly unlikely, and you probably have a picture of it.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of it because I was just going to ask one question. What's your hypothesis? That was good, right? That was good. That was a little smooth, yeah. But anyways, thank you for everyone for watching, and catch you next time.